If you would like to buy the written pattern for this, please check the description box down below for the link to my Etsy shop. Thank you for watching. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super easy crop top. It is with two laces at the top with these little spaces in between, so it's easily adjustable for each body type. So let's go ahead, take a look at the materials needed, and let's get started. Now for today's top, I'm going to be using this Naboo yarn from Lion Brand. It is an eco-friendly fabric made with plants, but it is a 4-weight medium yarn. You can substitute this with a cotton yarn. Each one of these skeins has 157 yards. You will not be using all of this, but you will be using a considerable amount of one color because we are going to be doing two different colors. Or you can do this solid, but I'm going to be using these two colors here. The exact colors that I'm using today is going to be this salmon and this blush rose. You will also need some stitch markers, and then the hook size that we're using today is a 3.5 or an E crochet hook. So let's go ahead and get started. We will begin by doing a few rows of granny square stitches in a triangle pattern. So to do this, we are going to begin with a magic ring or a magic loop. So if you do not know how to do that, please click the link right above here, and I do have a video on how to do this. Now, once you have your magic ring, you want to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. This is going to count as your first stitch. So place 2 more double crochets into your ring, 1 and 2. Now we want to chain 1 and then place 3 more double crochets back into that same ring. So we are going to be again making this granny square in the beginning. So we are going to be doing the granny square clusters. So here is our 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we want to chain up 1. So we want to do this until we have a total of 4 clusters. So we just chained up 1. We are going to put another cluster of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. And then we are going to place 3 more double crochets into this ring and meet me back here. All right, guys, so you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 of the granny square clusters with the chain 1 in between. So now we're going to pull the ring tight, and we are actually going to chain up 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, and 3. Turn our work. Now into this first space, we want to work an increase granny square cluster. So we're going to work 2 more double crochets back into that space. 1, and we're going to place 1 more right there. Okay, just like that. Now we want to chain up 1, go into the next space, the chain space, and work another granny square cluster. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we're going to chain up 1, and now into the next space is going to be a little bit different because this is going to be our center part. So we are actually going to place a granny square cluster of 3. 1, 2, and here is our third. I'll get a little bit closer. And here's our third. So now we're going to chain up 1. But now instead of going into the next chain 1 space, we want to put 1 more granny square cluster back into the same space, because this is actually going to be the point, and this is going to be how we make this into a triangle. So I went ahead and did that, and go ahead and grab your stitch marker. And I like to keep this space marked just so that I know where is my point. Okay, So now we need to continue to work back down the other side. So we need to chain up 1, work another granny square cluster into this next chain space right here. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. And then to finish off row 2 in this space, you can work into the stitch, but I just like to work in between you know, this chain 3 and the stitch right here, and work my last granny square cluster, because we need to be increasing at the end of every row. So just right here in between, I work 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Chain up 1, 2, and 3, turn our work. Now you will do the same thing for this row. So you will do 2 more double crochets into this space, chain 1, a chain 3 cluster, chain 1, the granny square cluster, excuse me, chain 1, and then when you get to your point right here, you're going to do the same thing. You'll do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets back into that same space, and you want to continue to do this around all the way, and right before you get to your last stitch of this cluster, meet me back at this video. Okay guys, so here I am at the last stitch of the cluster. Now we're going to yarn over and go through 2, and then over the last 2 we're going to finish off with our new color for the color change. So I already went ahead and cut my yarn. And then every time that I do a color change, I just like to take these 2 and tie them together just to make sure that it's not going to come apart and the yarn's not going to unravel. And then when I get further on in the project, I actually end up weaving all these ends or crocheting over them so that I don't have to worry about weaving them in. So then at this point, we are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Chain out or turn our work, and then we will work our first double crochet cluster right back into that stitch. So just like we had done in the previous row. So we are increasing right here. We're going to chain up 1, go into the next space, and we're going to do this for 2 more rows of your secondary color. And then, so let me show you guys real fast. So we are right here. We just switched over to our second color. So we're going to do 2 rows, and then you'll do change back to your first color, and then you will do 2 more of the granny square rows. Once you have that done, you'll meet me back here. So you will meet me back at row, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I will meet you back here at the end of row 9, and then we will move on to the body part of this top. So go ahead and work those rows. Just do 2 more, change your color, 2 more rows, meet me back here. All right, guys, so this is what it should look like. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows at the beginning with our main color, and then 2 rows, 2 rows, and 2 rows. So now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet back along, and we're going to do something a little bit different when we get to the point. So we're going to chain up 3. We're not going to change our color if you're following along with me. You can make this in any color scheme that you would like. So if you are changing colors, go ahead and do that. But we are simply going to place 2 double crochets into this first stitch. So this is going to be for our increase. So now something I do want to mention is at the end and the beginning of the next 10 rows, we are going to be doing a chain 3 and then 2 double crochets into the first stitch every single row. So now over the next 2 double crochets, we are going to place a double crochet over each of those. Oops. Go ahead and redo that one. Okay, and then when you get to the chain 1 space, you are going to place a double crochet in there as well. So simply double crochet over the chain 3 clusters. So we'll have 1, 2, oops, 3, then you get to the chain 1 space and then make a double crochet. So go ahead and do that until you get to your stitch marker and then meet me back here. Okay, so now I am at the center point. Now what we want to do is place 5 double crochets into that chain 1 space. So 1, 2, we're actually going to stop when we get to our 3rd double crochet, and we're going to place our stitch marker into the 3rd one. Okay, so there's 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to grab my stitch marker, put that right in there, and then I'm going to place 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. So into the next few rows, every time you come to the stitch marker, you will place 5 double crochets. And then in those 5 double crochets right into the 3rd one, you'll place your stitch marker for the next row. So remember to do that in the tip. So now we simply want to double crochet all the way back down until you get to the other side. When you get back down to the end here, you want to remember to place your last 3 double crochets, because you're going to end with 3 double crochets. So you're going to do 3 double crochets into that space. You'll chain up 3, turn your work, do 2 double crochets into the same space, because we're increasing at the end of every row, and then you'll simply work your way back around and then work right here and continue to do that. So continue to repeat this row. If you have confusions, rewind back to the beginning, because the beginning of this row will be the same for the next few rows. So we're going to work a total of 10 rows with just double crochets into every single stitch. 3 double crochets at the end, a chain 3, 2 double crochets at every beginning. Okay? So go ahead and do that and meet me back here after your 10th row. Okay friends, so this is what it should look like once you have your 10 rows of double crochets done. Now I went ahead and I put a couple stitch markers. We're not going to need these till the next round, but go ahead and grab your stitch markers and count 5 stitches on either side from where your center point is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 5th stitch, place a marker. On the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and place your marker. Now, go ahead and change your color at the end of row 10, and for the next row, the 11th row of solid double crochets, what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3 with our new color, turn our work, and work 1 more row of double crochet all the way around, doing our center point. Remember, working right here in this very center, we're going to work 5 double crochets into that point. In this row though, we are going to only be doing a chain 3 and then 1 double crochet back into that space. So we're only going to be increasing on 2 stitches on each end. So when we get over to this side, instead of placing 3 double crochets into that last stitch, we are actually going to just place 2. So go ahead and work this round, and I will meet you back here. A quick note before you do this row, do not place these side stitch markers just yet. We do not need them until we are done with row 11, so just keep the center stitch marker, go ahead and work your row and meet me back here. Okay guys, so I forgot to turn the camera back on, so I made my way all the way back over. You simply want to chain up 3, double crochet back into that same space, and then crochet your way back up to your stitch marker. Alright guys, so now that we are back to our stitch marker, we are going to do something a little bit different, because remember, we did want to count 5 stitches over from the center and place a marker right there. So we work our way up to that, and then into where the marker is, we are going to want to replace this, but into that place where we had the marker, we are going to work a double crochet. Place your marker right back into that space. Okay, we are going to make 2 more double crochets over the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, 2, okay, and then into this next stitch we want to place a single crochet, and then the one right before the center we want to place a slip stitch, in the center marker, we want to place a slip stitch. You do not need to replace your marker at this point. Into the following stitch, we place a single crochet, and then up until we get to our stitch marker, or excuse me, before we do a single crochet, we're going to do a slip. So we have 3 slip stitches, 1, 2, and then 3. And then we will do a single crochet, and then 3 more double crochets. So you had 3 double crochets, a single crochet, 3 slip stitches, a single crochet, and now we are going to do 3 more double crochets. And then when you get back to your stitch marker, you want to make sure that you replace that, because we are going to be needing that in the next row. Okay, so right there, place your stitch marker. And then you simply want to double crochet all the way back down to the other side, chain 3, place 1 more double crochet back into that space, and then work your way back up to this stitch marker. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys go, work your way down, and then back up and stop at the stitch marker. Meet me back here. Okay guys, so I went ahead and worked down and back up, and now I am at my stitch marker. Now we can go ahead and pull that out. We want to go ahead and work a double crochet into the space where the stitch marker was. At this point, we're going to chain up 3 and turn our work. So we're not going to work up any further, and we're simply going to work our way back down. So we can place 1 double crochet back into that first stitch. That's not going to be an increase, that's just you know, to make it a little bit smoother. So go ahead and work a double crochet all the way back down to the end here. Place 2 double crochets, cut your yarn, tie off, and then at that point, after you finish going back down and tying off, you want to reattach on this side and do exactly the same thing. We'll go ahead and work up to the stitch marker, chain up 3, turn our work, and work back down. But do not cut off when you get to the second side. Meet me back at this video, and then we will move on to the next part. Okay guys, so this is what it should look like once you get both sides done. So now that we are on the other side, I do not want to cut off like we did on this side. So I went ahead and done my 2 rows over here. Now what we want to do is we want to single crochet twice right here in the corner. And if you would like, you can place a stitch marker right here. And then we're simply going to single crochet all the way across the bottom until you get to the corner over here. And once you get done with the bottom and to the other side, just single crochet all the way across. I like to crochet over these ends. Meet me back here and we will start working up the side. Alright guys, so I went ahead and single crocheted across the bottom. Now go ahead and grab 2 stitch markers and count 20 stitches from the top going down, because this is where our straps are going to go. Go and count 20 stitches and place your marker. Then what you want to do is we are going to start working up the corner, and we want to leave those little spots to weave in our straps. So we're going to start with a single crochet into the first stitch. We're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch we're going to place a single crochet, just like that. Now we'll chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, skip 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th we will put a single crochet. So let me do that a little bit closer. Chain 3, skip 3, into the 4th, make a single crochet. And we're just going to work that all the way up until we get to our stitch marker, which is 20 stitches from the top. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. Okay, so now I have 2 stitches left and I'm simply going to single crochet in there. We can now take our stitch marker out, and now we are simply going to single crochet back up to the corner and do that. Meet me back here. And at the corner, I mean right here. Okay guys, so here I am at the corner space. Here's that chain 3 from this row. We're going to place 2 single crochets into that space, chain up 1, let me get that there, chain up 1, and then 2 more single crochets back into that same space. And I like to grab my stitch marker and just put it right there, because when we do our straps, this is where we're going to make them. And then you simply want to single crochet across the top until you get to the other side. When you get over to this side, you want to do the same thing, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, and single crochets all the way to your point. When you get to your stitch marker, you want to chain 3, skip 3, and then work that all the way back down, and then fasten off when you get all the way back down to the other side, slip stitch, fasten off, and meet me back here. All right, friends, this is what it should look like when you're all done. I have these in here because then you want to attach and make straps. You want to do a strap here and a strap here. I chain 350 chains. So as you see, we've got the little guys on the side, and this is where you will be lacing up your top through. So we only make the 2 straps at the top, and then you crisscross them through the back here. So then that's just the last step you have to do, you guys. Go ahead, attach, chain 350, and that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Again, check the description box down below. There will be a link for the written pattern which you can purchase. Thanks so much, you guys.